So today we are going to do something a little bit different. Going to show a basic snake game implemented in pure C with SDL2 as a backend. This is a kind of a nice program to learn with because it does work and it shows the classic snake eating an apple program in about 260 lines of C code. The build process for this application is very, very straightforward. That's it. And I can go ahead and change just one variable here, the delay time, which will determine how fast the snake game will run. Eight's probably a little bit too fast, so we'll go to 80. Save that. Run make again. We'll go ahead and run the game here. And this really does bring me back. I don't know if any of you guys were around in the early days of Windows or DOS even. Once we got to the very advanced graphical capabilities of Windows XP and so forth, Snake was a very commonly played game for just about the entirety of Western civilization, I imagine. Not this particular implementation, of course, but something quite similar to it. And why am I bringing us back to this retro game, which is indeed extremely retro at this point? Well, I'm going to demonstrate how LLM models, two recent ones, one which you can see working here, respond to having me feed this 260 line program to them and having them analyze it. We can learn some intriguing qualities of LLMs doing this. And as I said, we'll look at two relatively modern models. One offline, which is what is running here in the terminal window, and one online, given the exact same prompts. So, in both cases here, I've just given it the 260 line primary snake.c file, and the message to AI I've given is provide your best analysis of the following C program. And admittedly, this is a pretty light prompt. I mean, it's short and it's to the point, which is not necessarily what you want in most cases. But for this study that I'm doing here, I actually do just want it to provide its best analysis of the C program. The two models we're running here side by side are Claude Haiku 4.5, I believe, and offline we're running Nemotron Cascade 2. And here it starts out by complimenting this is a well-structured snake game. It's generally clean and functional, but there are several critical bugs. And it is rather confident about this. So we'll see that a Nemotron is probably saying roughly the same thing here. What the program tries to do. A number of semantic and implementation problems that make the program fragile, sometimes behave incorrectly and waste resources. So, as we can see here, both LLM models have some pretty confident things to say about our snake program here. They are very confident in their critiques of the program, and they're pointing out some very specific logical checks, snake growth logic flaws, configuration issues, and they're relatively similar in terms of what they're both recommending to fix here. Snake length issues. Nemotron thinks that there's a memory leak. Direction locking and event loss. No collision detection before moving, and minor issues. So, given how very confident Haiku seems to be about all of these issues, I'm going to go ahead and just ask it a straightforward refactoring question. As in, provide me the working C file. And even on this fast online model, we should be able to get it in one shot, because it's only 260-ish lines. So I'll just go ahead and ask for it. And I'm going to keep my prompts here pretty succinct. I just don't want to go into too much detail here, because what I'm trying to determine is the capability level of these models. What they will do, given a decent amount of freedom just in their base states. And particularly because they seem to be extremely confident in all of these issues that they've been pointing out. So I'll go ahead and submit here. Looks verbose. Alright, I will go ahead and actually this might be a little easier. Copy the original .c file. To a little snippet there, and we will just go ahead and directly copy and paste this in here, since I have so much trust in this model. Go ahead and make. Oh, would you look at that? So, our extremely confident Haiku model has introduced a number of compiler errors here, which I won't go into. Let's see if it even runs. And oh no, it's introduced a serious bug. Causes the snake to have an invalid neck size on the first apple. Well, I guess Haiku just couldn't one-shot it this time. And you know, in all honesty, I actually have run this experiment before and had the same result. Not exactly the same, of course, due to the stochasticity of these models' outputs. However, in the last time, it actually made the snake sort of break its body into non-contiguous blocks. So, Claude Haiku has failed to give me a straightforward analysis, critique, and refactor of a 260-line snake game. I can tell just looking at it, though, that it's made the program more verbose. Let's see how many lines it is now. 306. So not as bad as some other times I've seen. Still, it added code while significantly decreasing functionality, of course. Go ahead, bring our snippet back in here. So our game works again. Nemotron is just going at it there in the background. I'm going to go ahead and exit the window here. It has a lot of critiques. Let's see. So I won't bore all of us actually diagnosing all of these critiques. I will just run the exact same command I gave to Claude Haiku and say, hey, if you know exactly what you're talking about here and you've discovered a bunch of critical bugs in our snake program, then just go ahead. Provide your complete refactored version of the snake.c file. And this is a thinking model, a so-called thinking model, reasoning model. So we can see its thought process here, which when slowed down like this, as it is on my personal computer, it's often kind of interesting to watch it go through these patterns. where it's trying to tell itself what to do, essentially. And this thought process has a pretty large degree of variability in terms of how long it'll go on for. Sometimes the thought process will continue indefinitely, or apparently indefinitely, so long that I just close it out. Sometimes the thought process is only a couple lines, and other times it's sort of medium length, which hopefully this is. It could take quite a while here, though. And again, it seems very confident here of these fixes. It's identified a lot of problems which, quite frankly, may or may not exist. Okay, here it goes. The verbosity here is just so typical of these models, but it's also so unnecessary and most likely wrong, at least to some degree, maybe a large degree. You know, it's provided, 100 lines there, and it hasn't written a single line of functional code yet. Here we go. Oh wow, a lot of includes there. It's an interesting tick. Just to show how the SDL delay can be used to speed it up or slow it down here. Put it at 120. It is quite a bit slower there, as you can see. Oh boy, it's so verbose. Seems to have switched my arrow key direction of the snake to letter keys, which is a little strange. Finally getting to the end here. So, it looks like it provided the C file. very verbose. Okay. Go ahead. Build it. Oh, what do you know? Pretty serious build issues there. I don't imagine this will even run, but we'll try it. Yeah, it didn't even build. So this executable is my last version. So yeah, that's a pretty bad result. I had a somewhat more interesting results the last couple times I tried this, where it would, as I described before, sort of render the snake's body in pieces, so it was not contiguous. But this is the first time I've seen it just completely mess up the build. I think that this time it may have just, well, there's so many things wrong with this implementation procedure that it's kind of too much to go into. It's, you know, obviously a much more verbose program, very confidently implemented, I have to say, and also just very incorrect. Yeah, it's wow, 440 lines long, where the original implementation here that actually compiled is 260 or so. I'll go ahead and put that back in. So, what have we learned here? We've learned that two modern, I wouldn't call them frontier models, but they're modern, two modern LLMs, Claude Haiku 4.5 and Nemotron Cascade 2, running offline, have very confidently provided a lot of fixes to a program that really doesn't have a whole lot wrong with it. They have both provided programs that are significantly longer in terms of the code length, which have essentially no functionality. They both, well, one completely failed to compile, and to be fair to Nemotron, I have seen it one-shot a snake program that did compile. It was just completely unplayable. And one made a program that did compile but wouldn't even get past the first apple for the snake to eat. So, you know, the average developer at this point, I imagine, would begin a process of going back and forth. It would, or they would, communicate with these LLM models, trying to figure out what the LLM intended and trying to dive in to the code where their suggestions for fixes made sense, and trying to resurrect their original code with some kind of synthesis, I guess, of complete crap, let's be honest. And, you know, this test is not meant to generalize to the entirety of software development or AI models. We can always say that the next best model will do better, but this is a pretty straightforward test of two completely different models doing essentially exactly the same thing, overconfidently pointing out a bunch of flaws in elegant, maintainable, straightforward code, and then upon being asked to produce their refactored version, just completely trip over their own feet and produce slop, which completely fails in its stated purpose and requested purpose as well.